Hi everybody, it's Kathy with CraftFancy. I am coming to you live on Facebook through CraftFancy. I'm also coming live to you on Facebook through One of a Kind and One of a Kind YouTube. Carol's on the keyboards and Brian is next to me helping out, but we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you that have purchased the kit, we are actually working on a mini scrapbook, a travel. Hi, Leah. It's nice to see you. I'm going to try to answer, but Brian will also be answering questions and comments. But let's go ahead and get started. This is our project for today. I'm letting you know, I do know that I have only an hour, so I am going to get to all of the base pages in the book. Those that have purchased the kit, you have received email instructions with measurements to decorate the inside if we don't happen to get to the inside of the book. But we will do all of the brown base pages. And like I said, I tend to talk fast, so you never know. We might get through the whole entire book in 10 minutes. Just kidding. It's not going to be 10, maybe 15. But we're going to go ahead and get started. So in your kit, you have received 2 pieces of chipboard measured at 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So you have 2 of those. You also have 1 chipboard measured 1 inch by 6 1/4. You have received 5 sheets of brown cardstock. You have received score tape, a roll of 1/4 inch score tape, and you have also received a 12 by 12 paper pack from Doodlebug. The pack we're using is I Love Travel. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to move this out of my way because we're not going to use that right now. You will also need a pair of scissors. You will need a bone folder. You will need a score buddy or something that you can score with. The nice thing about my score buddy is it has 1/8 inch, it comes in 1/8 increments. You will notice on the instructions, I like to work in what I call kind of whole numbers, which means 1/4 inches to me. Once I get into 1/8ths and 1/16ths, you can forget it. Math is not my higher powered subject. You will also need a cutter. I have a pencil, and then I also have my instructions that I wrote out with a bunch of Post-it notes because when I cut my paper, I want to keep my paper in piles so I know exactly what we're working on. So I am going to go ahead and I am going to start cutting. Brian, if you could pull up my cut image so we could go through the different cuts that we're doing. I'm going to start with my bigger cuts first. So I'm going to bring in my cutter. So I'm cutting 11 sheets, or not 11 sheets, I'm cutting 11 individual pieces to 4 by 6. So let's start with 6s. And I'm going to kind of move through the cuts kind of quickly, only because I think we can all cut paper. So 11 of them. And again, I labeled Post-it notes only because I thought it was easier to keep the papers in a neat and orderly fashion, because when I craft, I tend to be kind of all over the place, and I'm trying hard to be neat and organizational for our project today. We got somebody coming at us from Idaho.
Actually, no, that's Lisa Johnson coming in from Reno, Nevada.
It was Anita from
Anita's from Idaho.
And I'm trying not to be nervous. Brian tells me that I can be nervous, and when I'm nervous, I tend to talk fast, so I'm trying to keep it to a minimum. Okay, so I'm at 6, 8.
Diane Green's coming in from California. How's everyone doing while we're doing these cuts today? You guys enjoying today so far? You guys having fun? Hopefully the CraftFancy project will keep you going on a nice straight line. Get it? Straight line.
Aha! 1, 2, 3. Sorry.
So the question for you guys that might have did all these pre-cuts already, what kind of cutter do you guys use or trimmer do you guys use to cut paper with? Let us know what you guys use on there.
So I'm actually using a Caterpillar, which I really, really like, but I've also been known to invest in Fiskars, you name it. I have probably one of everything in my life. Okay, so if you have pre-cut, I will let you know that there is that second cut, which is at 11 by 7.5. The instructions did say 11 by 7. It will work. 7.5 just gives you a little bit more of an edge for your cover. And I'm really just trying hard not to get my head in the shot, so apologies. This 7.5 by 11 is actually going to be your cover. Okay, so now we've got that. Now I'm cutting 2 to 6 by 12, and I apologize, I probably should have not done this in class, but I thought if we did it all together, we would all be on the same page, whereas if I pre-cut it, then I would have been ahead of everybody, and I just want everybody to kind of stay together. And I felt that that was a different size, which is why I went back in with that. So now I have cut my 6 by 12s.
So that's a great question, Kathy, that you might want to ask your crowd now is, do you want to cut along with us, or do you want to see next videos that I have everything pre-cut?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Always ask your questions, and that's how you learn from your audience.
Okay, so now I'm skipping a couple, and I'm going down to the 4 by 3.5. So I just cut that to 4. Now I'm to 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. And again, feel free to let me know if you would rather not cut along with me. 4 by 3.5.
And then again, too, now you're repeating yourself that you're putting Post-its on everything, so
Yes.
you know what it is that you cut, what size you put it to. Is scrapbooking at, loosey-goosey? Do you just do stuff as you go with scrapbooking, or do you have to be a lot more precise and precision?
For me personally, I like to be kind of precise, but that's just me. I am definitely a linear kind of person that I like everything to be matchy. All my friends, when I would scrapbook with them, now I just cut my 6 by 6 3/4. This is actually going to be your spine piece. Everybody used to make fun of me because if I had a picture up here and a picture down here, it had to be spatially matched. And all of my friends used to make fun of me for that. So now I'm going down to the 4 by 5 3/4. Now I need 5 by 3 3/4. Actually, I'm going to cut the 6 1/4 by 4 first. 6 1/4 by 4. And then my last one is the 5 by 3 3/4. So now I'm going to cut this to 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, so I have done all of my cutting. All right, so now I'm going to move this out of my way. And now we are going to go to our 7 by 11 sheet. Apologies.
We're going to leave the cut sheet up for about another 30 seconds.
Okay, so I am now at my 7 by 11 sheet. I like to work on the smooth side of the basil cardstock, but you can certainly use whichever side you prefer. You are now going to take your 2 pieces of chipboard and you are going to place them in the middle. And this is where anybody that did the cuts last night to 7 by 11, you'll see when you go ahead and place these, you're going to have smaller room to work with at the top and the bottom, but you'll still have the same on the sides. And what we'll do is when we do the inside cover sheets, the colored cardstock, we're gonna use a little bit of the Rick Rack stickers from the package of paper. But what you're going to do, and I just eyeball it, you really just want to make sure that you're covering all of your sides. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your, oh, they're saying the sound is bad. So now I am coming in with score tape. This is the most amazing tape ever. Oh, it is staticky. Okay, we're trying to fix the sound. Apologies. This is the most amazing tape ever. It is staticky. Okay, we're trying to fix the sound. Apologies. So now we're coming in again with our score tape. I am really just trying to get enough to adhere these particular chipboard sheets to the base paper. Now, why I use score tape is because it is heavy duty tape. I make a lot of boxes. I make a lot of 3D projects, and this is the best tape that I have used so far to keep it together. And the nice thing about it is you can rip it. You don't necessarily need scissors, but you can certainly use scissors. Oh, we're good. Okay, everybody's saying that we're good. Apologies. Okay, so now that I have put score tape on my chipboard, I'm actually just going to come in with my scissors and I'm going to burnish it a little bit. I noticed when I made my book last night that the backing for the score tape would stick to, it would pull up the chipboard. So I'm really just trying to make sure that it sticks actually to the chipboard and not come off the chipboard. Okay, so I am taking the backing off all of these, and then we're going to flip it over to make the inside of our book, if that makes sense. This is going to be your base, and your spine of pages is going to go on this 1-inch piece. You do not have to go crazy on the score tape. You can go crazy if you choose to. I just try to get enough to stick it down because the majority of my score tape is going to go when I make the inside of the book. Sorry. And I don't have nails. I feel like Brian now when he says that he can't when he can't get the paper off. So I'm actually using our picker tool. Ooh, there we go. Our rainbow picker tool. You might be familiar with it if you watched yesterday. We used this end for our gems, but you can use the pokey side to get the backing off the tape. Okay, so now I am flipping these, and you've got a general idea of where you want to put them. I'm really just kind of trying to make sure, and don't go pressing into it right away because you kind of want to make sure that it is exactly where you want it. You want roughly a quarter of an inch between the spine piece and your cover sides. Okay, so that's roughly a quarter of an inch. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to press these down. Okay, so now we're good. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a pencil or a pen, and we're going to miter the sides. Now what mitering means is we're going to cut triangles off of each of the 4 sides. What you want to do is you want to make sure you don't cut really, really close to the chipboard, because then when you fold this in to bind it to the book, you're going to run into an issue that your chipboard is going to stick out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one of the little scraps that I had, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to draw a triangle. Okay, so if you can see it, there's a little bit of a lip between the chipboard and my triangle. So we're just going to do that on all 4 sides. Everybody with me so far? I hope I'm not confusing anybody, and I hope I'm not talking too fast. Okay, so now you come in with scissors, and I'm really just going to cut the triangles off. And as Brian always says, if I move too fast, just stop, watch the rest of the video, and you can always come back and replay the video. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any. So now that we are here, what we're going to do is we're going to take all 4 of our sides and we're going to bend them into our chipboard. Okay, so we're just going to come around, bend them into the side, bend them in, bend them in. Okay, now what you're kind of going to do is you're kind of going to go crazy with your score tape. You want to make sure that all of this sticks to this chipboard. So really what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of measure it. And again, it's nice because you don't need a pair of scissors. Score tape rips very nicely. And for those that may have cut a 7 by 11 last night, like I said, this will still work. You're just not going to have as much of a lip as you do here. You do want to make sure that you put at least an inch onto your spine. I'm going to call this part the spine. Oh, I went a little crazy on that side. Are we doing good? I don't see anybody making any comments, so I'm always worried that I'm going too fast. Are we good? All right. So now you will see I have covered all of my sides. I'm going to come back in just with the butt of my scissors and burnish it down. Just so like I said, so it doesn't stick to my chipboard. All right, so now I'm going to come back in with our little pokey tool because that seems to be working out pretty well for me. I'm going to pull up all the backings on my score tape. Ooh, and now I'm sticking to myself. Okay, so now we're going to come in and we're going to fold all these in. Okay, so basically your cover is done. Now what I like to do is I like to kind of force the paper to make that book edge. So just kind of, you know, fold it in a little bit to get your creases right in here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to set this aside for a minute. Okay, we are now going to move on to our 6 by, now you want your 6 by 6 3/4 sheet. Okay, this is where your scoreboard is going to come into play because now we are going to make our binding, or actually our binding. We're going to adhere the pages to this. So now what we are going to do, and bear with me because I don't want to mess this up because I messed it up earlier, and I want to make sure that I'm telling you the right widths. Okay, so you need a bone folder. This is a Dress My Craft bone folder. I actually just purchased this because the one that comes with the Score Buddy, for some reason, I've jammed it all down. So I love this one so far. We've got different kinds. I'm just gonna put a quick plug in. This is like your normal bone folder, and this is an ergonomic bone folder. I have not tried the ergonomic one, but I think it's more for the comfort of your hand to go like that. But so I am working with a pen one. So now we are going to score at 3/4 of an inch. We are going to score at an inch. 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/4, 2 3/4, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, We're gonna go to 4, 4.5, 4 3/4, 5 1/4. That's what I did last time. I almost went to 5 1/8. 5 1/4, 5 3/4, and then we're going to 6. So for right now, we're done with our scoreboard. And you should be able to see a pattern when you look at your paper. So the 1/2 inch scores are actually going to be our pages. So now you really don't want to force fold everything. You just kind of want to get the score line started. So I'm just trying to get the paper to bend just a little bit. It doesn't have to be precise, just to get it started. Okay, so now what you want to do is at the 1/2 inches, you're going to create a mountain. So here's the 1/4 inch, 2 1/2 inches. My 2 1/2 inches, I'm coming in and I'm making a mountain, okay? Now my next is a 1/4, 2 1/2 inches. My 2 1/2 inches, I'm making my next mountain. So you will be making 4 mountains. Okay, so we've got 1, 2. Another 1/4 inch, here's my next mountain, the 1/2 inch score lines. Okay, so now I have 3, another 1/4, here's my last mountain. So now you have 4 mountains. Are we all good? So now I have 4 mountains complete. Now what you are going to do is you're going to flip your mountains over. So now you have valleys. In the valleys, you are going to place score tape straight across each of the 4 valleys. Going to pull the backing off and we're going to make solid mountains. So here we go. So I'm in my first 1/2 inch space, my second 1/2 inch space, my third, and my fourth. Okay, so now what you want to do is you're pulling the backing paper off. I'm just going to quickly burnish these just so they stick to the paper. Like I said, sometimes when I get my nail under there, I end up pulling up the whole thing and not what I want. So now I am sticking, let's call this number 1 to number 2. Your paper will kind of roll up a little bit. I'll just warn you of that. It's fine. We're going to work that out. Okay, now I'm taking number 3 and I'm sticking it to number 4. I'm flipping over just to work it a little bit more. Okay, now I'm taking number 5 and going to number 6. Again, flipping over just to kind of flatten it up a little bit. Now I'm taking number 7 and I'm sticking to number 8. Okay, so like I said, it does roll up, but it's fine. So now we've got our 4 pages with a 1/4 inch separator in between each one. Are we all good?
It's a little quiet out there.
It is a little quiet, so I'm kind of freaking out. Okay, we're coming back to our book that we've made, okay? Now you will notice that there are 2 score lines on the outer edge. Those score lines are really just to kind of help you center it in your spine, okay? So now what you're gonna do, so I'm just gonna make sure that I'm good. I'm good. Okay, you're going to take this and you're going to flip it over and you're gonna score tape all of this, or at least a good portion of it, because this is the part that is the most important. You want this to stick to your book and to make your pages.
Joyce Carol Deere says you're looking good.
All right. Thank you. And again, I hope I'm not moving too quickly. I hope we all kind of got where I'm going with this.
Cheryl Peterson says, quiet usually means busy at work.
Excellent.
It also means that we went dead somewhere and we're talking to ourselves. That's what makes us stand on our side.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always worried. Okay, so you should really go up towards the top as well, just for example purposes. I'm going this direction. Okay, so now I'm pulling the backing off of my binding. And now I'm going to use those two score lines that really don't mean anything to us, but I'm going to use it to line it up to this particular strip right through the middle of the book, okay? All right, and you want to give it a good push into your book. All right, and now we're going to kind of force the whole bend in there. So now we've got our start of our pages. Okay, so we're going to actually adhere all of our base pages to these 4 strips. So to create the 8 pages that we have in our book. Okay, so now I am going to set this aside for 1 second and we're going to come back to our sample. So page number 1, I'm not calling this page number 1, this will be inside cover. Page number 1 is actually an accordion, okay? Oops. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take those 2 6x12 sheets of paper and we're gonna come back with our scoreboard, okay? So our 2 6x12 sheets of paper, we are going to score at 4 inches.
30-minute warning.
Okay.
While you're scoring there, Anita, we just want to answer that question that you're hoping to figure out replay. I must be tired from yesterday. You're doing awesome. Well, thank you very much for that, for saying that to Kathy. I understand being tired, and as always, if you have any troubles, you know who to contact.
We always say no.
We're always here at CraftFancy 24/7. Send a PM.
Yep.
Send a question. We'll get right back to you. If you have trouble at the video, let us know. We're here to help. So, and that's the way it goes, not just for Anita, but anyone that's watching anywhere across on YouTube or on Facebook.
Okay, so I scored both sheets at 4 inches, okay? And made, oh, and you'll notice that I messed up with the paper. Okay, apologies about that. I hope you all paid attention to where your Basel UPC code was, because obviously I did not. Okay, so now you have these 2 folded into thirds. What you are going to do is you are going to take 1 and 1, and you're going to adhere these 2 together to make an accordion. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I used score tape through the entire book. If you want to change adhesives now, feel free. I like I said earlier, I like score tape only because I know that it's going to stick. If you're using liquid adhesive, you're going to end up waiting. And I'm kind of an impatient person, so I like to make sure that I can just keep whipping right along. All right.
Isn't it also too, sorry to interrupt here, but isn't this one of those times where quality is, quality does?
Yes.
Because isn't this, you're not really creating a scrapbook, you're creating memories, a booklet of memories. And I think when you get into the less quality type materials,
Yep.
that, you know, after 5 years, the tape starts to come undone.
Right. Yep.
Your pictures start
Exactly.
falling apart, and then you start losing stuff and you can't remember it. I think this is one of those times where you definitely want to use a higher quality caliber of adhesives like score tape or art glitter glue.
Art glitter glue.
Or that. You know, this isn't the time you want to go to the the rusty nail bargain bin
Yes,
someplace and do
exactly.
that. But that's my 2 cents on it. But I don't know, so that's why I'm asking the question. So tell me about that, Kat.
I just do. I love score tape. Like I said earlier, I do a lot of boxes, and this is my go-to tape. And it comes in a variety of sizes, from 1/8 of an inch all the way up to, I believe 2.5 is the biggest roll you can get, but it also comes in sheets.
It comes at 6 inches actually.
Oh, it comes in 6 inches too. I did not realize that. Okay, so now you have a pile, I hope, of 11 4x6 sheets. Take one of your 4x6 sheets. I'm going to call this a base page. Okay, I am going to come in with my accordion, and I am going to take my accordion. I am going to adhere my base page onto the accordion, but, and this is where I want everybody to stop. I'm going to sound like Jennifer. Stop for 1 second. You're going to put glue, adhesive, score tape. You're going to only do 3 sides, because what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this to the spine of the book. Okay, so let's come in and we're going to adhere this on 3 sides. I put my accordion to the back of the base page, not to the front, just for aesthetic purposes. That's just me. I'm trying to hide as much as I can behind the base pages, so you really only see the base page. Okay, so again, I'm coming in. I've only done 3 sides because my last side is going to get adhered into the book. Coming back in with my pokey tool. See, and that's my problem because I didn't burnish it. Burnishing is your friend. Okay, so now I'm coming in and I am adhering. This is my base page. This is my accordion. I'm lining them up because everything, again, is 4x6. Like I said, I like to work in what I consider even increments. Okay. So now I have that flap, okay? And I know that this is kind of a little convoluted, and I apologize about that. But you want to come in with a little piece of score tape so you can get this onto your spine, okay? Pull this off. Maybe I'm going to pull this off.
Someone's asking Lee Sullivan, when will Kathy do a box class?
I love boxes, so I would be happy to do a box class. Okay, now I'm adhering that base page. Okay? And again, I hope everybody watched your Basil UPC code. Okay, so now we've got our accordion folder in for page number 1.
Maybe show up, just flip it up
Flip it.
like that.
Oh, okay. So there you go. Okay? Now we are going to move on to page number 2. I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to come in and show you page number 2. Okay, page number 2 is a slide out. Again, your dimensions are in the, for the printed paper are in the instructions, but we're going to work a pocket. So now we are coming into our number of 5 by 3 3/4. So here we are, 5 by 3 3/4. Okay, we are coming back in with our score pal, excuse me, and we are going to adhere on the 5-inch side. We're going to adhere twice, 1/2 inch. Okay, so we're going 1/2 inch. So 5 half would be 4 1/2. And then I'm coming back and I'm flipping now to the short side and scoring at 1/2 inch here. Okay. Now what the instructions did not say is that you are going to cut out the little corners that are not embossed, scored in, okay? All right, now I'm taking another base page, 4x6 base page, okay? We're gonna fold on our scored lines. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna adhere this to the back of the base page to create that little folder, or little envelope, so to speak. Little file? I don't know what to call it. I'd call it a file.
What would you guys call it online?
And focus.
Okay, so again, coming in with the tape. And we're gonna adhere this to the back of the base page. Pocket, yes, thank you, pocket, pocket works.
Alice gets it.
Words escape me sometimes.
Renee Carroll came in second with pocket.
Oh, see, there's my burnish problem. Okay, so now I've made my little pocket. Okay, we're gonna come back to our book, and now we're gonna adhere this to the back of our other base page on that first spine part, okay? So you're gonna kind of go crazy again with your score tape to make sure that this all sticks together, okay? So let's do that. You really want to get up towards the tops and the sides so you don't have an issue when people are flipping through your pages.
What do you mean issues? No issues.
I'm coming back in with my pokey tool to get my backings off. And I'm so proud of myself because so far I haven't stabbed myself, because that's usually a good go-to injury in scrapbooking as well, as you usually stab yourself. Okay, so now I have adhered page 1 and page 2 into my spine. Okay, now we're going to move on to page 3, which is this, oh, sorry, which is this Let's Get Away. Okay.
20-minute warning.
Okay, so we are coming at 2 pieces of 4x6. Okay, we're taking it out of our base page pile. Okay, we are going to bring back our scoreboard. We are going to score on the 6-inch side at 1/2 inch. Again, because I just like even round numbers. As soon as I get into 1/8 and 16ths, I get kind of lost. Okay, so you've scored both pieces at 1/2 inch. You're going to come in and you're going to fold. Fold again. You're coming back in now with an actual base page. You're going to adhere the folds, the 1/2 inch folds to the base page. Pokey tool. And that's why I worked with, like I said, round numbers, 4x6, only because it's just easier. And then when you're cutting your decorative paper, they're all the same size. You will have to cut your pictures down though, because the album is a little smaller. The pages are a little smaller than your normal 4x6. Okay, so now you have this. This is the back end where your 1/2 inch folds go. Now you're going to adhere it up the center of your spine number 2. Okay, I'm only going to do into the spine parts because we have another base page coming up. Are you with me so far? Okay, so this is going on the left hand side of that spine number 2. Okay, so now here is my, is that page 4? Page 3. Okay, page 4 and 5. Page 4 and 5 are really just straight pages. So page 4, you're going to come in with a base page from your 4x6 pile. And now you're going to adhere this to the back of the page that you just inserted. Now again, here's where you're going to get crazy with your score tape. You're going to now adhere this to the back of your flip that you just created. Are we good? I hope everybody's working and haven't given up on me. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to adhere this to the back of that flip page that we just created. And you're going to push it in to get a solid page. Okay? Now we are on to page 5. Again, from your 4x6 pile, you are just going to adhere, because page 4 and 5 are just basically a straight scrapbook page with the decorative paper on it. There's no flip, there's no interactive parts to page 4 and 5, just something pretty to look at. Okay, so now you're adhering that to your third spine. Okay, are we good so far? And I'm really just kind of giving it a little bit of a, to move it around. Okay, we are now on to page number 6. So this is page 4, page 5, like I said, just like a straight scrapbook page. Page number 6, you are coming in with the 3 3/4. Bear with me one second. 3.5 by 4, sorry. 3.5 by 4. So you have one sheet that you cut to 3.5 by 4. We're coming back with our scoreboard. All right, we are coming back with our scoreboard and we are scoring on the 3.5 inch side. At our 3.5 inch side, and again, round numbers, we're scoring at 1/2 inch. Okay, now what we are going to do, we're going to fold on that 1/2 inch side. I don't know why I have so many of those. Okay, now you're coming back in with another 4x6 base page. You are going to put score tape on your 1/2 inch fold. Now I went to the bottom of my base page to make my little flap. You could certainly come up here, you could go to the top, you could do whatever you want. I went to the bottom just because I like things on the bottom, which sounds really bad. But so now I have my little flip on page number 6. Now we're going to take our base page and we're going to attach it to the back of number 5. Again, you're coming in with a lot of score tape to adhere the pages together. And you want to do all 4 sides because you want to get into the binding on the bottom or on the towards the right side. And you don't want your pages to separate, so you all 4 sides of your paper. We doing good?
I think so.
Okay.
I haven't seen anybody talk.
Nope, me either.
Last comment was Lee saying the paper makes it almost look like a fine bound book, a fine leather bound book.
Well, and the brown actually goes really well with the I Love to Travel paper from Doodlebug, so that's why I opted for brown. Okay, so again, we're going right along this strip and adhering to the back of the other page. And because everything is a 4x6, it lines up. Oh, and I went off a little bit. So make sure that you, when you put your pages in, you kind of crunch them together. I noticed that I'm off by a little bit down here. All right, so you really just want to make sure your pages match up back to back. Okay, now we are on to page number 7. Page number 7 is this fun little flip. Okay, so we are taking 1 piece of 4x6 from your base page pile. And I'm taking the one with the Post-it. We are taking 1 piece of 4x6 1/4, and we're taking 1 piece of 4x5 3/4. Now along the 4-inch side, we are again going to score at 1/2 inch. Again, nice round numbers. As soon as I start getting into 8ths, like I said, higher math, not my forte. Now, because I am going for a staggered look, you want to make sure that you line up your pages correctly. So I'm already off. So your longest one goes on the bottom, middle, and then top. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere my 3 1/2-inch score tabs together. If I can find the end of my tape. There we go. All right, so I'm on my bottom one first. Moving on to my middle one. And again, you want to make sure that your edges line up with each other. My edges line up with each other. Give it a quick fold. Another piece of score tape. My edges line up with each other. Quick fold. Okay. So now we're coming back to our base page. So you should have still 2 remaining 4x6s for page 7 and page 8. This is page 7. You're going to take this and you're going to adhere it to the back of page 7. Okay? Like I said, I tried to keep all of the folds all into the back, or connecting, adhered to the base pages so you don't see like this big pile of flips. Okay? So now this is page number 7. We're going to go ahead and flip this over. I'm going to go just down the right-hand side to adhere it into our spine.
9 minutes.
Okay. And now we're going to move on to page number 8. So again, I've adhered page 7 to that last page of binding, okay? All right, page number 8. which is my last base page. And now we are taking 2 pieces of 4 by 3.5, and we are again going to score on the 3.5 inch side. 3.5 inch side. We're going to score at 1/2 inch. 3.5 inch side, score at 1/2 inch. We're going to fold on the score lines. Fold on the score lines, come back in with your base page, your last base page. Again, score tape on the tabs that you just created, the fold, the 1/2 inch fold. 1/2 inch fold is going to go on your base page with the fold towards the back. Okay? All right, so now you have your last little flip of the book. Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't actually show the last page, did I? Okay, so our last page officially looks like this. So it flips open, okay? So now that we have this page, we're going to once again come in with a lot of score tape, and we are going to adhere to the last page. I think this was the fastest hour that my life has ever moved. All right, ladies. So I'm putting in my last page. Again, you're centering it with the page beforehand. And now all you have to do is you have to go in and decorate. You do have a package of 12 by 12 I Love to Travel by Doodlebug. The dimensions are in the emailed copy of the directions, but you can do it the way I did it, or you could do it any other way that you choose. For those that may have cut to 7, you will have to kind of you'll have to fussy around your front and your back inside covers. What I did was I used the strips down here, and then I put my 4 by 6 sheet right on top for the decorative part. But that is pretty much our book.
Awesome. I do want to answer a question really quick from Tammy, Richie Packard, and Joyce asked the same question. Joyce Carroll here asked, are there still kits available?
Yes, I will post the link.
Yes. So
Yes.
the answer is yes, and the link will get posted. So
Yep.
that looks pretty good. I appreciate you doing that, Kathy. Hey guys, do me a favor. Let me know in the comments today how Kathy did. Let's be honest, if she did something or she missed something, Kathy's only going to get better by you guys telling her what she did and what she didn't do wrong. And if you want to see something that Kathy talked about today that you guys didn't know about, like a box, how to make a box, let her know that too, because Kathy's always looking for ideas on what she can do.
And I'm really just flipping through the book just so you can get a feel for it. I also, because we are CraftFancy, we've got all kinds of different kits. We also have scrapbook page kits. And if Brian would be so kind as to pass me one or two, I can certainly give you a couple of minutes shout out for all you scrapbookers out there that like to scrapbook.
Yep. All right. But before we do that, also too, is I'm throwing the code up there right away, guys. It's the same code as yesterday, or if you're just tuning in today, it's 12% off your entire purchase, excluding the class kits and clearance as always. Use code August for checkout. Look what's coming up.
Oh, you can never go wrong with gnomes, and Christmas gnomes are the best. So again, these are 12 by 12 sheets of paper. You get a sticker sheet in there as well. You can use them for cards. You could certainly use them in your scrapbooks as well. This is actually a card kit. So you can make 2, 4, 6, 10 different cards. Sorry, like I said, math, not my higher subject. Sticker sheet as well. Again, with the gnomes, these are super cute. These are the bumblebee set. Again, 12 by 12 sheets of paper, all double-sided, and you get a sticker sheet as well. This one is called Simply Vintage Lemon Twist. What's nice about these are you can incorporate them into cards with the cutouts. They're 3x4s and 3x3s, I believe. So again, sticker sheet, you can use them in your scrapbooks or in your cards. Oh, and who doesn't have a kid that's been to the ER? So perfect for your scrapbook. When my son had his appendicitis, I made sure I took a picture of him in the emergency room, and I actually used this pack of paper when I did the page. And then at the farm, so for all of those fall activities, apple picking, all that kind of good stuff, you can certainly use an at the farm. Oh, and who loves a beach vacation?
Back?
Your static is back.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just say
Okay.
say goodbye.
All right. Well, everybody, we appreciate you coming. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and I will answer. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you have a great day.